During my Assume a Disability assignment, for the activity that I chose, I did bowling. And with my disability, which is lumbar laminectomy, it was very difficult to bowl. And it honestly took some of the joy out of it because I had to have somebody pick the ball up and put it on the ramp for me. And literally all I could do was just push the ball down the ramp. It was also very frustrating to um, bowl because I couldn't control where the ball was going, which I mean, normally I can't either, but I can at least control it a little more when I can throw it myself. Whereas with the ramp, I couldn't control if the ball was going to go left, right. I mean, we sort of started to figure out how the ramp was and which way the ball tended to go when you push it down. So yeah, so that was pretty frustrating. It was also interesting to see like the people there were super nice. They like brought everything to us, even though they knew that this was just an assignment that we were doing and we weren't actually disabled. They went and got the ramp for us. They put the bumpers up for us. They brought our shoes over to us, and I did go and order food there too. And the workers there brought the food to us. So everyone there was super helpful and super nice. And there was even this one guy that was down the lane bowling from us. And he came over to us a few times and talked to us about it. And he knew that we were just students and we didn't actually have the disability, but he was just joking around with us and he was super friendly. So that was a really good experience and just to see what it's like to do something that you normally enjoy and what it's like with a disability because it really opens your eyes that even if we find ways to adapt an activity for a person with a disability, it still might not be enjoyable for them because they're not doing it the way that they are used to doing it. So that was really interesting and an eye opener to see that. And then just to talk a little bit about the rest of my experience, when I first got the brace on, it just felt weird. It was really weird to get used to and interesting. Um, and it was oversized, obviously, because I'm small and it wasn't meant for somebody my size, but it was uncomfortable, really, to sit in it and to lay in bed with it. I found it very difficult to do a lot. It was difficult to even use the bathroom because, like, my pant line was above the brace. So it was very difficult to do that. Even to get dressed, like you're not allowed to take the brace off unless you're laying in bed flat on your back. So to get dressed, I had to have my roommate help me take the brace off, and I had to like log roll in bed, and then I had to I wore a button-up shirt because I found that easiest, and I just laid the shirt out first before I even took the brace off or anything. I just laid the shirt out on my bed and took the brace off, and then I kind of, with my other shirt, I took it off as best as I could by myself, and then I buttoned up the shirt, got both my arms and buttoned up the shirt. And then once I was done, I had to have my roommate come back in and help me put the brace back on. So it was a very lengthy process to even get dressed. And the rest of the stuff in the morning to get ready, it wasn't that bad. I could use both my arms, and as long as I was standing, I had my walker by my dresser, and as long as I was like had one hand on the walker, I could still do my makeup and everything. So that was my experience with getting dressed and everything. And then with cooking, I didn't find a lot of difficulties. The only thing that I really found difficult, which we were able to compensate for, was not being able to use both of my hands at the same time. So carrying a pot or like a lot of the pot that we used luckily only had one handle, so it was easier to carry with one hand. But some pots aren't like that. Some pots have two handles and you need two hands to carry them. So um, with this type of disability, you definitely want to adapt the cooking materials so that you can use one hand because you always need a hand on the walker at least. It was very tempting a lot of the times to not use the walker and just to be like, all right, I'm fine, I'll just walk around, like it's not a big space, but I tried really hard not to do that and I never did do that. I found ways to adapt instead of just being like, oh, I'll be all right, not using it. Um, so yeah, so overall, this experience was really interesting and really eye-opening. I didn't have too many people make comments about what I was wearing. I had some people stare, which is normal, and but obviously it still makes you feel like self-conscious, like you don't want people to be staring at you. Um, but I had a few people just come up to me and ask what I was doing or what happened, um, which I honestly think is better than to stare and point. I think it's better to have somebody just come up and politely ask you, just be like, "Are you okay? Like, were you in an accident? Were you like, what happened?" Rather than just stand there and point at you and stare at you, um, and talk behind your back or whisper about you. So I think it's better to have somebody come up and ask you. But yeah, so overall, this experience was really eye-opening, and there were a lot of difficulties with it, but a lot of learning points and um, learning how to compensate. And I think in the future that this will really help me treat my clients because now I've been through something like they might be going through, and I can better help them adapt. And I can come up with strategies and just think back to this experience and use the strategies I used during my experience to help them with theirs.